know what? You can put the sign of the Ask the Rabbi in the meantime, the breakfast fund, the breakfast room, the breakfast sponsorship of today. Okay, beautiful. And you have this flyer. Let me disconnect my phone. When you're ready, I am ready. 28:31. ¿Quiere que se lo aguante un poquito? You got it? Beautiful. Excellent. I'm disconnecting my phone. I'm pressing record. And we go. Good morning, Kahal Kadosh. Wednesday, the 28th of Tammuz, corresponding to the 31st day of July. Please bear with me with some of the announcements and dedications that we have for today. The Lighthouse Torah Project live video feed dedicated Le'ilui Nishmat Devorah Feige Bat Shemuel, as well as Ora Devorah Bat Rivka. Additionally, for the Refuah Shelema of Menachem Mendel ben Sarah Basha, Hannah Bat Shani, and Asher ben Malka. The iTorah live audio recording for the Shidduchim of Nehamadina Bat Hanabatia, Eliab Haim ben Esther, Sarah Simcha Bat Sofi, Rachel Penina Bat Jenny. The Edmond J. Safra Synagogue breakfast and class, graciously sponsored by Michael Citron and family, Le'ilui Nishmat, his beloved father, Moshe Halevi ben Shoshana, Alav Shalom, on the occasion of the Sheloshim. And especially, we dedicate today's class for the Refuah Shelema of Rabbi David Yehuda ben Shprinza Rivka, that is donating a kidney at this moment as we speak in New York. The rabbi is from here, from South Florida, and the recipient also, we wish him a Refuah Shelema, Yosef Haim ben Yael Kohen. May the donor and the receiver, both of them, have a speedy recovery, a Refuah Shelema among the Holim of Am Israel. Amen. It is just thinking of the words, donating a kidney, donating a part of your body, literally, to a recipient. This is something unbelievable. Donating money is easy. Saying Tehillim is easy. Now going to the surgery, traveling, doing all the testing. So Be'ezat Hashem, no words can describe the holy work that the wonderful institution known as Renewal does here in the United States, and they are spreading their wings to different places in South America and North America, to my knowledge, and probably all over the world. I think they did, in the past few years, over 600 kidney transplants, and could be even more. Could be even more that they did, literally giving people a new lease of life. And Baruch Hashem, they have a great track record. So we bless all of those involved, especially our friend and community activist, A.J. Gindi, that many people of the North, the South, the East, and the West know him. And he's like, he has like a rollerblade in his shoes, always running around, trying to recruit people, sponsor the treatments. Hashem, may all of them be crowned with success. Amen. Sometimes the introduction is longer than the class. Not to worry. Talking, Baruch Hashem, is not an issue. Okay, so I only took almost 4 minutes of my introduction. But I'd like to say one more thing. Tonight, and you've seen this sign, and I spoke about it inside, we're going to have a special edition of Ask the Rabbi class dedicated Le'ilui Nishmat Don Jaime Galante, Haim Ben Adela Alav Shalom. The class is open for men and ladies. We are making the effort of having this class transmitted live, like we do every day with the Lighthouse Torah Project. For those watching, tune in at around 8:15, 8:10. I don't think we'll start before that. And by Hashem, hopefully, we follow the step-by-step procedure in order to have a live transmission. For those who live in Miami, you come Because if you come, you get to eat. You understand? And you come to say shalom. I know it's funny. And you come and you greet the family that unexpectedly, their beloved father, Jaime Galante, alav shalom, at a very young age, from one second to the other, returned his holy soul to Akadosh Baruch Hu. So I believe respectfully that I covered the announcements department. And I apologize in advance if I took longer than usual, but I think that every announcement is special for its own merit. So Be'ezat Hashem, we're going to proceed. The topic of Birkat Hamazon. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Shehakol Nihya Bidbaro. Okay. So far, we discussed 2 days in a row the topic of Birkat Hamazon, benefits, dividends, how to say it, as the Ben Ish Hai mentioned the other day, with simcha, with happiness, word by word, from the Siddur or the Birkon or the Bencher, whatever you use. And if you don't have it, close your eyes and say it. But if that's not enough, you know, sometimes they give you the commercial. If you order in the next 22 minutes, we throw in this special pillar and we give you a free shipping and handling. And if you call in the next 5 minutes, we'll give you a third set. So today, with your permission, I'd like to go the 3rd day of Birkat Hamazon, discussing some benefits and additional greatness that a person can achieve on a personal and a spiritual level. This comes from the Zohar on Megillat Ruth. And you may ask why the Zohar in Megillat Ruth speaks about the topic of Birkat Hamazon. I think the answer is found in the beginning of Megillat Ruth, or in the middle rather, when the Pasuk tells us that Ruth went to the field of Boaz to pick up the cereal, to pick up the grains. Grain is bread, and bread causes Birkat Hamazon. But listen to the Zohar Kadosh, and it says, we know, and I said this back in Perashat Veha'alotecha, in the Aventura of Zechariah HaNavi, Roni Besimchi. And there the Pasuk describes one basic difference between a human being, a person, and a malach. The malach is called omedim, stationary, standing, and a person, a human being, it's called mehallechin, that they are walking. I ask you a question. Do malachim eat or not? Most of us say no. But interesting enough, we had a few times, especially one time, Avraham Avinu, when Avraham Avinu welcomes the 3 malachim, and they ate. Why did they eat? If usually malachim don't eat. So there is a concept, thank you, in our Torah, in our Talmud, that there is something called in Hebrew, minhag hamakom, that a person should not deviate from the tradition of the place where they are. For example, I'll bring you one simple example. There is a pasuk in the Torah that says, Lo titgodedu. Lo titgodedu means that a kahal should not be divided. That's one of the concepts called kahal, the kahal kadosh, the unison, the betakneset, the kenes, the unification of the people. Let's say that a Sephardic fellow, and I must bring this example because I think it's very easy for us to relate. I'm not an expert in Ashkenazic traditions, although I do know some. And one of these is that in many communities, the kahal stands for the Kaddish. And in some communities, the Kahal stands for the reading of the Sefer. As Yashir Aseret HaDiberot. I will tell you that in the Sephardic tradition, the halacha is very clear that we don't stand for the Aseret HaDiberot, we don't stand for Az Yashir, we don't stand for Kaddish. The only Kaddish that many people stand is the Friday night Hasi Kaddish after Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat before Barechu. That's why if you come here to our synagogue, depends on the time of the year, you are going to see half of the shul stands, half of the shul sits. But what happens if you are in a synagogue that the whole kahal stands and your tradition is not to stand? What do? You're supposed to stand. Why? Kavod HaSibur. Otherwise you're going to say, all of you are doing A, I do B. The opposite. Lot itgodedu. When the Malachim came to visit Abraham Avinu, they ate. Why did they eat? For the kavod of Abraham Avinu. But I want you, please, to listen to this Zohar that says, and again, this is the first time that I see this. Give me a second. Give me a second, please. Let's hope that what I'm looking for is exactly the same. 6, 7, 8, 9. Zohar HaKadosh, Ruth. Before I give you that statement, I think that I skip one important statement from yesterday. I saw it in the Hebrew, I missed it in the English, but it says as follows. Beautiful, beautiful. Amari biyudai. Gadol koach birkat hamazon. Great is the power of those who recite birkat hamazon. Shemosif koach biracha bepamalia shel ma'ala. Because it adds the strength of the holy entourage. We learn a similar concept in the night of Tu Bishvat, Eid al-Jar. Tu Bishvat, Rosh Hashanah Leilanot, we learned that in the merit of us reciting berachot for food, every malach, mehila, every fruit item, every vegetable, every type of food has a malach supervisor. That's what we learn in the Periya Esadar. And how do we determine if a product will exist next season? By the berachot that we say in the previous season. Something fascinating. Every time I say a beracha on an apple, I'm charging the batteries of the malach in charge of the apple trees. So the Zohar HaKadosh writes and it says, we give a blessing to the malachim, and Rabbi Hanina adds one more. Gadol koach birkat hamazon shemosif beracha al ma'aseh yadav shel adam. It says the beracha leaves our body, our mouth, so to speak, checks in Shamayim, and bounces back to the world. I will tell you that this sentence that I just read is not only a benefit for Birkat Hamazon. It's a benefit for every beracha, especially of food that we say. Why? Because we have another Zohar that says, and this is heavy, that it says, a person who eats without saying blessings, the Zohar calls them mashhit and gazlan. Now, for those who understand Hebrew, I just woke you up. And for those who don't, I'll explain. Mashhit in English can be explained as destroyer. What are you destroying? It says, we're destroying the potential berachot of coming down into the world. As the Pasuk says, Haber, the Pasuk from Yerovam ben Nevat, Gozel aviv ve'imo ve'omer en pesha, Haber hu leish mashchit. That's what the Pasuk says. Yerovam ben Nevat, the famous righteous man in his younger years, and turned sour, turned against the Jewish people. After the passing of Shlomo HaMelech, when Rehavam, the son of Shlomo, was appointed as a king, he wasn't happy with that decision. What did he do? He left Jerusalem. He opened up his own kingdom. In the beginning, he had good intentions, but regretfully, as the time went by, he turned against God. He turned an enemy of the Jewish people. And I'm talking about Ruhaniyut now. I'm talking about from a spiritual perspective. So the Zohar HaKadosh tells us that a person with berachot keeps the world running in the field of food. Let's put on the side that a person says a beracha has hakarat tov. I'm being grateful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that a person can afford food and a person can physically eat food. Where do we learn this concept? I'll tell you the Pasuk, you'll know it right away. Yaakov Avinu alav shalom. The Pasuk says, Benatati lechem le'echol ubeged lilbosh. God, give me bread to eat and a garment to put on my back. I ask you a question. Did you ever have a shirt for lunch and bread as a pillow? Bread as a pillow is not a bad idea. Hamavdil. Why did Yaakov Avinu says, God, give me lechem le'echol? Of course it's lechem le'echol. Of course it's bread to eat. You know what Yaakov Avinu is saying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? A lesson for us. That many times people have the financial means. They can afford food. They can afford garments. They have them in their home. They have them in the Shabbat table. But guess what? God forbid, medical conditions, the person cannot eat. Medical conditions, the person is bedridden at home or in a nursing home or in a rehab center. You follow me? You have a beautiful wardrobe and you can wear a shirt every day of the year and a suit every second day. You have it. But guess what? Lo alenu velo alechem, the person is bedridden. Same thing with food. This is the berachah of Yaakov Avinu. God, I don't want to have your blessing only. I want to have the opportunity of enjoying the blessing that you are giving us. And the Gemara in Berachot discusses this and different concept, and it says that when a person says berachah of Birkat Hamazon with concentration and with joy and with concentration, I'm not telling you to do the kavanah of the Mekubalim, because we're not there. Maybe some of you are. Mekubalim, for every word, they have a page. I told you this story, right? Many years ago, 20 years ago, a rabbi from Israel came that took for Sefirat HaOmer 20 minutes. 20 minutes, not 20 seconds. Ayom, no. 20 minutes. He warned us in advance, his assistant. Let's finish Arvit and please announce that the Omer will be said after Aleinu Leshabeach. Whoever needs to leave can leave, but it's a lengthy Omer. We timed it, 20-some minutes. The next day he came for Shaharit. We said, Uli. So I'll tell you what happened. He started to pray with us. He started before. He did the Amidah together with us. And his assistant says, don't wait for the rabbi. You know what time he finished Shaharit that day? 11:30. He started Netz, Vatikin, 6 o'clock. His Sidur, Heke. And this is only Shaharit. Every few words, one page. With things that you don't know. We don't understand Hashem's names, Hashem combinations of letters. So I'm not telling you to do this. Basically what he's saying is, from the book, with happiness, with gratitude, and what is the merit? The Zohar Kadosh writes, and it says that after 120 years, Borei Olam will reveal to the person in Gan Eden all the spiritual achievements for each proper Birkat Hamazon that a person said throughout life. By the way, Birkat Hamazon is obviously a Torah concept, but Gentiles also recite Birkat Hamazon before. We say Berachot before and Birkat Hamazon after, because that is what the Pasuk says. First you eat. But in the Goyim way, it's acceptable. And probably we may have individuals who may not be Jewish, etc., but it doesn't matter. You know, the idea of the prayer of the Birkat Hamazon, in English is called grace after meals, is that a person understands that without the Kadosh Baruch Hu's God's involvement in the world, we can lift a finger, the Gemara writes. A person, en Adam, a person does not move the finger in this world unless they gave the green light from Shamayim. We take things for granted. But I think that this shiurim that we are having these days, I think that is an eye-opener for us to understand. So here is now what I started to say before. It says, there are three areas in life. To me, they all sound the same. But in Hebrew, they don't. One is called Kedusha, holiness, Tahara, purification, Nekiyut, cleanliness. So I can tell you, one refers to the external mehila, to the internal body, Nekiyut. Like we learned the other week, the Baal Peor and Asher Yatzar, and going to the bathroom, what the tikkun it does, the Ben Ish Chai explains. So today we say, when we eat, we also need to have cleanliness. That is one of the reasons why in Judaism, in Jewish law, there are so many things that require washing of the hands. We're not discussing the laws of washing the hands, but just for a, you know, like a reminder, for how many or what situations prompts the person to wash their hands. And let's clarify. There are different ways of washing of the hands. One is with a cup, one is without a cup, just get your finger wet. Another one is 3 to the right, 3 to the left. Another one is skipping with beracha, without beracha. We're not giving all the halachot, but let's throw in on the table just situations that cleanliness, it's required. After you come out of the shower, after you come out of the mikveh, touching parts that usually are covered, walking into a cemetery, cutting nails, taking a haircut, taking out blood, okay? What else is there? Waking up from sleeping, and it doesn't matter if it's through the night or if it's an hour nap or more than an hour, you require netilah. What else? Touching shoes. I gave you intimacy, for the record, before and after. No blessing, obviously. I'm giving you this just to create an awareness. Relax, those watching and listening, okay? But there is such a thing. Yes, definitely before. And after you wash yourself, you take a shower, you go to the mikveh if possible, and then when you wash your hands, you have kavanah that purifies. The Ben Ish Chai gives a formula that a man who wasn't able to go to the mikveh, the next morning, he washes the hands 40 times. We discussed this in the past, and then at the end you say a pasuk, Lev tahor Vera li Elokim, Vera Nohad Shekirbi, etc. Perhaps there are more situations that the halacha requests that a person washes their hands. Although you said, but Rabbi, I just took a shower. I just went to the mikveh. I went to the mikveh. Why do I need to wash? Because you touch parts of the body that are usually are covered. So we understand that there is the concept of cleanliness, but what added cleanliness can you add if you came out of the shower? I'm already clean. I took a shower. I used body wash. I washed my head. I wash my body according to the halakha, you tell me. How do you wash? How do you take a shower according to the halakha? You start from the head. Remember, we learned this a long time ago. You start from the head, right, left, center, right, left. For the record, if you did the opposite, it's not an avon. Has v'shalom. But I'm only telling you that even something so simple, there are guidelines. Why there are guidelines? Because guidelines, rules, and regulations are mandatory for a normal life. Let's say you drive on the street and there will not be a stop sign. Has v'shalom. Or the highway will not have a divider in the middle. Has v'shalom. Or a person picks up a prescription without telling you how many hours apart it should be each pill. You look at it, you know what? Let me take the whole thing now. What do you have to do? You have to call Hatzalah. We need to have guidelines in order to make our life proper, healthy, holier, etc. So based on this writing of the Zohar Kadosh says that the physical cleanliness, it brings a sense of purity. How, and I hope you never feel this in your life. But regretfully, yes, bechavod. Regretfully, Shiv'ah, observing the Shiv'ah, the 7-day mourning period, is not an easy week in the life of the person. Besides the emotional aspect of it, but there is a physical discomfort. What is supposed to happen? Shiv'ah is not a period of socializing. Shiv'ah is a period in which we come to the house of the mourners, we come to the house of the Avelim, we pay the respect, and guess what? You're not obligated to say one word when you go to the house of the Avelim. Let the Avel do the talking. You can say, Tenuhamu min hashamayim, or min hashamayim tenuhamu. But to engage in idle talking, in things which are, no, I'm helping the person deviate from the weak. The opposite. The opposite. You know what our Sefarim HaKadoshim writes? For every milligram. How much is a milligram, Professor? 1,000 portion of a gram. Yani nothing. So I'll give you for every gram of discomfort in the week of Shiv'ah, there is a spiritual cleansing to the neshama of the niftar. Can you imagine? A person sits Shiv'ah and is doing tikkun for the niftar. How does the Avel feels during the week of the Shiv'ah? And I hope that perhaps some people may have never went through Shiv'ah, but let's be honest. You sit on the floor. People have to serve you. You wear a torn garment. You don't change your garments for a whole week. And how do you feel? Or how does a person feel when the Shiv'ah is over? You went to the Bet HaChaim, you paid the respects, now you come home to change. You get rid of the garment of Avelut and you go to the shower. How do you feel after that shower? You feel like a malach. because your skin did not sense the shower for a whole week. And yes, I know that I'm saying a lot of things, and some of you may want more explanations. There are certain rules that apply. If you can wash your hands, if you can wash your eyes, if you can wash your body parts in honor of Shabbat, you change your garments, and you must go to shul and make the adus and make the hamosi. Again, Rabotai, today is not the class about the laws of Avelut or the laws of washing our hands, but I like to create awareness to understand what the Zohar Kadosh is. It says a Yehudi must also eat in a holy and in a pure way. So how do we achieve that? Number one, kosher food. But I'm talking to all of you, so I don't have to spend time talking about prohibition of non-kosher food. So we'll skip that topic. The next topic, more realistic, berachot, before and after. You know, the pasuk says, "Bitkadishtem, bitem kedoshim, ki kadosh ani." The pasuk says 3 times in the same verse, and you shall sanctify yourself, and you will become holy, because I am holy. It's a pasuk in the parasha. You know what the Talmud says on this? Maim rishonim, maim ensaim, maim aharonim. The 3 occasions when a person eats bread, that washing of the hands is required. Number 1 and number 3 are always required. Before we eat bread that is hamosi, what do? Netilat yadayim. We wash our hands, we say the beracha, we dry our hands. That is the procedure. You wash, you raise your hands, say the beracha, then you dry. Then you eat bread. Then you do maim haronim, which we discussed in the past, the washing of the fingertips of the person. Many differences in Jewish law. Netilat yadayim for bread is 3 to the right, 3 to the left, the entire hands. And we say a blessing and we lift up our hands. Maim haronim, fingertips, and minimal amount of water. And we discussed this, but I'll just remind quickly ourselves. The difference between Netilat Yadayim and Maim HaHaronim is that Netilat Yadayim is Kedusha, in honor of Yaakov Avinu, and Netilat Yadayim in Maim HaHaronim is for Esav. What does it mean? The fingers of the person are without a doubt the most exposed and the most used part of the human body. Every part of the body has its function. The face and the fingers are the most exposed. Baruch Hashem, we have, but you don't see it, and you're never going to see it probably. Yes, if I put on tefillin in the morning, you get to see here. That's it. Or if you happen to see me in the mikveh, then you see me. That's it. But the hands always exposed. When I eat, when we eat, how do we eat? I need the hands. Yes, I know I can have a straw, but let's be honest. Okay, people use the hands to eat. So in the beginning of the food eating mission, or we can call it in the Talmudic war, in Talmudic language, war. When a person eats, our rabbis tell us that is a moment of war. And I'm not talking about a physical war in the battlefield, but in the spiritual world, in the body of the person. Right? Sha'at achila, sha'at milchama. Why bread? It's called lechem. Why it's not called pat? In the Talmud, in the Halakha, it's called pat. In the language of mankind, we call it lechem. Lechem is lohem. War. When you, milchama. When you go to eat, you are at war. Who? The Yeser Tov and the Yeser Hara. How are we going to eat today? And I'm not talking about the menu. I'm talking about who is going to be on the driver's seat of eating. And this is not a Coney Island hot dog eating contest, that the more you eat, the more you win. That's definitely an anti-Torah concept to begin with. Haz v'shalom. God forbid. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the basic concept. A person can eat like Yaakov Avinu, and a person can eat like Esav. And we discussed this back in Sefer Bereshit. Hal'iteni na min ha'adom hazeh. Esav did not believe in leftovers. We have leftovers. Shabbat comes, you have leftover mahshi. What do? You serve it the next day. This week is a challenge because we have a Shavua before Tisha B'Av. But on Shabbat, you can eat. You understand? Esav says, is there? I need to eat it. I'm sure you know what I'm going to say now. Doctors, and I'm going to talk about the biggest doctor that existed in human history. And I'm saying the biggest because he was a combination of doctor, Hacham, and all of the above, Rambam, Maimonides, right? He gives a formula how to eat. I don't know it by heart, but I know that you heard of this. Chew the food properly, several times. Don't drink while you eat. You go to a restaurant, what is the first thing they tell you? Would you like something to drink? Not now, later. You know, they tell you, don't drink while you eat. Wait. And I recall reading that there is a delay switch in the human body between the stomach and the brain. How long does it take the stomach to send the message to the brain, Dayenu? 20 minutes. What does that mean? I don't know. But I think what it means is as follows. We eat in order to survive, in order to live. But no one can deny that sometimes we are mahmir. And we eat more, and we eat more, and we eat more. Why? Because we are determining satisfaction based on the stomach. No, my stomach is not full yet. My stomach, the Yisra is telling me, one more. Maybe you didn't have enough shi'ur. You need to be mahmir, hazonish, 6 kazaitot. Just in case to be more on the line of halakha. You don't want to say beracha levatala, haz v'shalom. So that's, by the way, one of the reasons why we do May Maharonim. That in the event that a person may have eaten in a way which is not conducive to holiness for the mind and for the spirit, so my fingers, which were the culprit of taking the food from the table and bringing it to my mouth, I purified this part of the body. Yes, the Talmud brings another reason known as Melach Sedomit, that in the olden days the salt existed and the salt originally came from Sedom, and since the fingers touched the different parts of the body, touching the eyes with a finger that came in contact with salt, in the olden days salt was the main element in the kitchen to preserve and to cook, etc., God forbid, can bring blindness to the human body, to the person. That is the Talmudic reason why May Maharonim was established. But from a spiritual reason, May Maharonim was established, and there are those who say a pasuk, Ze hele kadam ra. Yani, when I'm doing the May Maharonim is, this is for Esav. Keep Esav busy, I'll give you what I give you, and I move on with the Birkat Hamazon. So, we discuss washing before eating bread. We discuss May Maharonim, washing the fingertips before Birkat Hamazon. And here is a question from the ladies department. Do ladies need to do May Maharonim or not? We discussed yesterday that ladies need to say Birkat Hamazon. It's a mitzvah ta'aseh shelo hazeman gerama. You can do Birkat Hamazon any minute of the day, any hour of the day. So therefore we do. And according to many poskim, including Hacham Ovadia Yosef, ladies also do Mai Maharonim. Let's clarify for the record. There are some communities who don't have this concept, but halachically it is the proper thing to do. Then we have one more water, the middle water. It's called Maim Sa'im. When do you wash your hands? In the middle of the meal. Short answer, in a meal contains fish and meat. To separate, because the combination of fish and meat is dangerous for the human body. That's why we wash our hands, rinse our mouth, and we eat something in between. Some people eat bread. In the Ashkenazic Hasidic tradition, I think they have eggs and onions to separate between the fish and the meat. It's not halakha that you need to have egg and onions. At home, personally, what we do between the fish and the meat, I wash my hands, rinse my mouth, drink a bit of wine to wash down the fish and the rice, right? And eat a piece of bread. To create a separation in the digestive system between the fish and the meat. That, interesting enough, each one represents a different spiritual type of food. I'll give it to you, since you are such a wonderful audience. And with this, we'll finish. There is more what to say. There is more what to say. I'm only in message number 9 out of 70, 80 some. I'm not saying that we're going to cover everything this week. Tomorrow we may have a great speaker visiting us, Rabbi Nosson Maimon. You know him because he has been here in the past, so he may be here tomorrow or Friday. But not to worry. In a few weeks from now, we're going to be reading Perashat Eikev, which is the source of the Birkat Hamazon. So perhaps we add a few things. But let me finish to talk about the chicken, the meat, and the fish. And then we'll say a closing statement about Birkat Hamazon. And we're not debating here vegetarian, vegan. All these things are not relevant for us today. And whatever decision a person makes is their own decision. The Torah, just for the record, allows the person to eat fish, allows the person to eat chicken, allows the person to eat meat. These are rulings from the Torah. There could be health issues and side effect issues. That's thanks to modern technology. But let's keep all that topic on the side because it's not today's menu. But let's finish with the chicken, with the beef, and the fish. We, as Yehudim, we need to train ourselves in understanding that the physical and the spiritual, although they appear to be two opposites and even two extremes, but the reality of life is that our life as humans and as life as Yehudim, our world needs to contain a combination package. Gashmiut and Ruhaniyut. Spiritual and physical. I think that there are plenty examples of how that can be mixed. For example, food. Kosher, that's the spiritual. Food is physical, kosher spiritual. Blessing spiritual. Words spiritual. Kosher suit. The checking of Sha'atnes spiritual. The garment physical. Going on vacation to suitable places. Kosher restaurants. You understand? The Torah, and I said this in the past, Hashem and the Torah does not want the person to divorce themselves from the physical world. Yes, let's clarify. Could be a handful of people that they are perhaps in their lifestyle living more of a spiritual rather than physical type of life. But we are not in that league. Maybe some of you are, I don't know. But I'm not. And I believe that most of us agree to what I just said. But what is the mission of a Yehudi? The Baal Shem Tov says it beautifully. A person's mission is to bring godliness into the world. That's it. Khalas. Follow the parameters, good morning. Follow the parameters of the Torah, the parameters of godliness, and the parameters of respect. Many of the Kahal present here heard me talking about yesterday the prohibition of posting things online that are damaging or embarrassing someone. And today we discuss the benefits of social media, but the equally dangers of social media. In one hand, can do a lot of good. For example, now, this shiur, projected live. How many people are watching? I have no idea. Who are the people watching? I have no idea. But I know one thing, that there are Yehudim learning Torah, that perhaps otherwise they may not learn Torah. You know my drill. I finish my class, I shut off my phone, I send the class to iTorah, and they upload it in the website. And I don't want to brag how many distribution systems are there just to spread Torah through the world, through the masses, which is the gift that we have today. And like we do this here, I believe that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of rabbis that do the same thing on a regular basis. I'm not sure everybody's elegant as I am, but that's a different story. I can't compete with the ties department. But kidding aside, but lo aleno velo alechem. Sometimes people post things online that are damaging, that are embarrassing, and that is a Torah prohibition. Or a person who posts everything they do online. What that creates? Jealousy, envy, desire, competition in a negative form. So we need to be honest with ourselves and understand that the guidelines and rules that the Torah gives them to us, it's for our benefit. It's not to make our life, oh, the Torah doesn't allow you to do anything. No, the Torah allows me to do anything I want without getting into trouble. That is the beauty of the Torah. Mehillah, that I took a detour. I'm coming back. We talk about the fish, the chicken, and the meat. And I'm using this example because I think that we're all going to be able to relate very easy. Each of these animals, after they meet the halachic criteria of health and kashrut, we are allowed to consume them. Obviously, the meat through shechita, the chicken through shechita, and the fish, as long as it has the simanim, has the proper kosher symbols of fins and scales, no shechita required. We need to understand that even in the shape of the animals and in the living arrangements of the animals and the characteristic of each animal, you are able to determine which animal is of a higher spiritual level than the other. Do you understand what I'm saying? That even in the animal kingdom, we know which is A, B, C. And I use this because it's very easy. You know, in New York, interesting law. I did not see it in Florida, and I'm not sure if it's available in Jersey. Restaurants have letters. They put, right? They put Department of Health rating. A, B, C, undefined, or pending, I think they call it. I ask you a question. Will you go to eat into a C restaurant? And the C has to do with cleanliness, hygiene. How clean are the sinks? How clean the dishes are? Under the sink, under the fridge. They look at all the hidden aspect of health that can affect food. Because we know this. Bacteria is invisible. So they go, Department of Health goes, how calm you are, you walk into an A restaurant. Much calmer than if you go to a C. Now let's clarify for the record. The C doesn't mean that they are not clean. The C means, at times, because I've seen it with my own eyes, I wanted to read the document that the inspector placed. Items were not organized neatly. Wow. Unbelievable. Why? You need to circulate the vegetables, the open food, the open eggs, whatever labeling, something like that, it said. Interesting. Let's talk about fish. Let's save the fish for the end. Let's talk about meat. Beef. Heke, huge animal. Heavy. Rear part, we dispose. We don't eat. We do shehita. Long knife. You open the animal. You got to inspect. Bedikat pnim. You got to check the lungs. Halak bet Yosef, glat, whatever. You check everything. Then you clean the animal. Then you do meliha. You have to rinse. You have to soak and salt the meat. You have to rinse it again. It's a several hours procedure. And only then the butcher receives it. And only then we buy it and we bring it home. Lengthy step. Next, the chicken. Chicken, interesting enough, it's a creation, it's an animal that doesn't walk on the 4 legs. It only walks on 2 legs and has 2 wings. The knife is very small. The checking, it takes moments, not minutes or hours. And very quick, you know kasher, not kasher. The kashering is faster than beef because if you have 60, 40, 20 pounds of beef per chunk, so imagine yourself how much salt you need to use. So we understand the following. The beef is a quadruped. The legs are connected to the earth. That shows Homer. Homer, Hamor, in Hebrew, it's donkey. Why is the Hamor called Hamor? Because of Homer. Is a materialistic type of animal. You may ask, Rabbi, what materialistic is available in the Hamor? I'll give you the answer. Walks on its 4 legs, and it walks very slow. Is more attached to the ground. The cow a bit faster, but still connected to the ground. So therefore, the process in having a piece of meat coming to my table is much longer for meat than for chicken. So the chicken has 2 wings. The 2 wings connect to Shamaim, and the 2 legs connect to the planet Earth. You follow? Then we have fish. The fish does not survive on the earth. Gashmiut alone kills the person. Where the fish lives? In the water. I don't know where you are. I am in Miami. Okay. Yes. That was Siri talking. Yes. Okay. I said, well, okay, well, unbelievable. Okay? So the fish is where? In the water. What the water represents? Ruhaniyut, Kedusha, holiness, cleanliness, purification. So from a spiritual perspective, fish is A, chicken is the next, and beef is the lowest. Please, I beg you, for those listening or watching, I'm not telling you cancel the barbecue. I'm not telling you don't eat meat. Haz v'shalom. Yeah, eat meat between today, tomorrow, Friday, and Shabbat. Hopefully Mashiach will be here between now and then. But we know very well that once Shabbat is over, we enter into the remaining part of the 9 days that we don't eat meat, we don't drink wine, unless Sa'udah Mitzvah and a specific halachic concepts are applicable. But the idea, what I'm trying to say is that even in the world of animal kingdom, with the kashrut, there is a spiritual level of degrees. And that is what the Zohar mentioned in the Birkat Hamazon. The cleanliness of the body, the purification of the soul, and once our body and soul are on the same wavelength, you know what is the benefit? Kedusha. Then a person wears glasses of holiness, of Kedusha. And this is something that we all need to aim to achieve in our life. And I'll finish with this statement. The purpose of the last few minutes of what I just said is not to change the life of people, to say from now on, don't do A, don't do B, don't do C, become a vegetarian. That's not the intention. The intention is to understand that even something so physical and so essential and basic as food can be a catalyst to be connected with Hashem, or the opposite. As I said before, lehem milhama, lashon of war. And I finish, I think, with the following statement, to finish with a nice concept. You may have heard this, me talking something called Ta'anit Hara'avad. Ta'anit Hara'avad, it's a formula that the Ra'avad, which was a great giant, he's the famous rabbi who many times wrote comments about the writings of the Rambam. He says that when a person has the desire to eat, desire, let's say you walk in front of a bakery, or you are in a kosher supermarket, and you see the smell of the sambusek coming out of the oven. I like sambusek, by the way. I haven't eaten one in a long time. You know, like the, huh? Unbelievable. You buy it, but some people get so desperate that they eat it in the store. It's not a restaurant. They walk around the store eating heke de sambusak. I'll tell you that is not proper. It's not derech eretz. To eat standing, it's already a halachic challenge. To walk around a store or the street with food in your hands, it's also a halachic challenge. You bought it, you put it in the bag, and now you need to check out. How long did that take you? 3 minutes, 2 minutes. You know what the Rabbi said? Just holding yourself 1 minute, ta'anit. It's like that day you fasted. Can you imagine? It's an unbelievable bonus. Why? The Rabbi explains very simple. You knock down the Yeser Hara. The Yeser tells you, haram, you just bought it. It's hot. By the time you finish your shopping, you're going to get in the car, it's going to be cold. And Kuli Alma La Pelige, that a cold sambusak and a hot sambusak, for the Ashkenazi crowd, let's call it kneidalach, okay? Or kreplach. Kreplach will be closer. Kneidalach has a matzo ball, right? It's not the same, hot or cold. Masbud, you agree? Beautiful. I'm multi-system, by the way. I like both foods. It's not the same. But you said, no. Kol ha'ochel bashuk domeh lakelev. Haz v'shalom. So we learn that even something basic can connect me with Hashem. That is the reason and the secret of Berachot before, Berachot after. Shlomo HaMelech says, Bechol derachecha da'ehu, behu yeyasher orchotecha. Borei Olam gives us an opportunity that in every step of our life, there is room for godliness. If we look for God, we will find them. In any situation, doesn't matter what it is, how insignificant it may appear to be, or how technological may be, there is an essence of godliness. How do I know that? Because if there is no essence of godliness in something, that something cannot exist in the world. If it exists, there is something behind the scenes. Perhaps I don't understand, perhaps I don't see it, perhaps I don't sense it. That's my need of how to see it, how to open my eyes and see Hashem in every step of the way. I would love to continue, but I think it's time to say, have a great day, everybody. May all the Holim that we mentioned should have a refuah shelema, and the neshama of Mordechai, Moshe HaLevi, Ben Shoshana, alav shalom, will have an aliyat neshama, especially on today, being the Sheloshim of his passing. And again, those watching and those here, you're cordially invited to come in tonight, to tune in Be'ezat Hashem at around 8:10, 8:15 for the special Ask the Rabbi class. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Rabbi Hananiah ben Akashia Omer, Rasa Kadosh Baruch Hu lezakot et Israel lefichach, irba lahem Torah mizvot shene'emar, Adonai hafez lema'an sitko, yagdil Torah ve'yadir. Kaddish. Amen. 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 Yeheh Shemeh Rabba Mebarach. Le'alam ul'almei al-mayah yidbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitram v'yinaseh v'yitadar. Amen. 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 ברבע ויצלן לנו. אמין. אמין. המרחם על כל בריאותיו ויחוז רחם על נפש רוח ונשמה של האיש משה הלוי בן שושנה, שהיום של השין לפתילת נשמתו. רוח השם תניחנו בגן עדן.